Performance could be a kind of medicine right now, where we as artists can bring it forth as a necessary, essential form of human life. It's part of our humanity.
I started performing when I was 4. Not because I really loved being on stage. I still would never say I love being on stage. I saw a performance by the Royal Winnipeg, and it was a very contemporary ballet. I didn't know what it was because I was 4. I was with my mom, and I remember that one of the male dancers, he pirouetted and his sweat hit us. We were really in the front. Like my whole body was just like this. And then I remember the dancer, the female lead, just kind of clawing down her arms. Like it wasn't probably a very suitable piece for a 4-year-old, but you know, it was the 70s.
I actually grew up quite a shy person, and me doing this in front of a camera is something that used to be well out of my comfort zone. I'm more comfortable not having to speak and just perform with my body doing movement. The response and the energy, even if the crowd is quiet, just that energetic presence of being witnessed really changes the way a performer moves and feels.
One of the things in the performing arts, especially in a small town, is the community is very vibrant and supportive, and I think that's been probably one of the hardest things, is just having the community gone, because we don't get to see each other anymore, and we don't gather at the theater, and we don't do shows anymore, and we don't. There's so many little things that we just can't do anymore.
The thing I miss most is that being in a room full of people breathing together. You know, just that, whether you're on stage or off stage or backstage, that feeling of being in a room and you share a moment. And it's fascinating because I've done a lot of work that is around breath. I wrote a whole series of pieces that were around the idea of breath and inspiration, and suddenly breath is the thing we're afraid of. You know, we don't want anyone breathing on us or near us. But that moment when you're in a room and everybody's, because a thing has happened, or so I miss that as an audience member and as a creator desperately.
I miss going to the theater. I miss going to see live dance. I miss going to see live music. It's definitely a hole, and I feel it's, without that, it feels like there's no soul.
It's totally affected the community and the theater community, and you know, everyone's trying to think of new ways to do things, but at the same time, we're really restricted.
Everybody I know is right now in various stages of grief and panic and anger, and I feel like a lot of the response to this pandemic hasn't been aware of us as a community of people. We're the first to close, and we will be the last to reopen, and we're struggling to keep alive financially, but also artistically and socially and emotionally.
My livelihood is based on running a theater, and the theater's been closed since March 15th. So for the most part, COVID's kind of trashed my business in a sense.
What's a little frustrating is partly that we don't have the audiences, the way we did, but also that you know that you can't do your best work. You just can't.
I feel as an audience or as a performing artist is not to get me down, but to continue to explore and investigate how we're going to reemerge. I just felt the urge to go online and maintain that connection. So it has been online. Over the summer, we went outdoors in open spaces, and that was great too, but I really miss being in the studio.
There's so many misunderstandings when people say, why don't you just put it online? One thing is assuming that you have the technology to do that in any way that would be not embarrassing. It's very hard to make a live performance palatable on screen. You need actually quite a lot of technology and time and money to make that happen. Also, why do you want to? I mean, other than it's COVID, you know, it's meant to be live.
It's convenient, you can watch it when you want, but it's still not that same energetic exchange as when you're really there watching the person and it's real time. And, you know, especially with Circus, it's that energy of like you know, are they going to slip? Are they going to fall? Are they going to pull it off? When it's video, you don't have that kind of suspense.
We're trying to think of different ways to go online, but still keep it somewhat immediate. It really has forced a lot of us to think about what is creative output and what is performance. I'm imagining some of us probably aren't going to do it. Probably lost a bunch of artists across Canada already just because they can't pay the bills.
When I started out making work, nobody asked that question. Nobody ever said, why should we care about the arts? And it's a question that gets asked more and more, and you know, I get frustrated answering it. There's been all these studies done, people can look them up. The arts increase community well-being, mental health issues, relationships, people's sense of self and community are all positively affected by the arts.
If you don't support the arts, then, you know, what are we doing, right? I mean, we're just eating. You know, we're supporting eating. You know, okay, let's eat, you know. If you don't support the arts, I mean, you don't have a soul in your community.
It makes me very angry when people talk about how the arts are extra or they're not important or they're fringe or whatever. But what is everybody doing to get them through this? We're binging Netflix and we're reading books and we're learning, you know, we're learning things on computer. We're playing computer games. We're doing things that were created by artists.
One of the reasons I came to Peterborough was because there was a vibrant arts scene. And one of the reasons I've stayed here is because there's a vibrant art scene. If there's no art scene here, then there's no reason for artists to stay. And that'll totally change the whole nature of the community and the town. So I think it's really important to support the artists so that in their way they can support you.
I'm Ovid, the COVID. I'm a virus and nobody likes me. You see me coming and you go running. Well, it isn't fair, 'cause don't you see? I'm only doing my job, which is to spread and to infect. And I realize that all you guys are just trying to self-protect. But the day will come when I'll be gone and you'll be well and free, and I'll just be a sad old memory. Poor me. I'm Ovid, the stupid COVID.